welcome to Haunting the Collector with me, Jace. And today, what I'd like to do is my very first book review. And I've just realised that rhymes. And this is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while now, but what I want to do is books that I've literally just read. So one, it's fresh in my mind, and two, I don't want to be trawling back through all the books I've ever read. So for me, books are the cornerstone of everything that we love. You know, every film, every game, every collectible that we have, it all stems back to books pretty much. So, and the other thing as well is I used to read so much, and now I don't read a fraction of what I used to. So I wanted to it's something to push me into reading more again as well, because I really do love reading books. Now, the one I'm doing today is, I only had it a couple of days ago, and it's actually a graphic novel. Now, I've got to start by saying I'm not a graphic novel fan. So if you're sat there thinking, oh, if you're just going to do graphic novels, Jace, I do mainly read just novels. Very, very rare I do graphic novels. So this one, the one that I read yesterday, I read this literally, is from Court of the Dead. And it's their latest graphic novel, which is The War of Flesh and Bone. So that's the one I'm going to be reviewing today. But I'm also going to be going over the other graphic novel that they did, which is Shadows of the Underworld, and I'll get to why in a minute. So yeah, so this is the ones I'm going to be doing today. Now there's a series of books within the Court of the Dead range. There is the first one, which is called Grave Tales, which is a graphic novel, which is a series of individual stories. And then there is the Chronicle of the Underworld, which basically lays out the whole of the Court of the Dead for you, and it gives you insights into the characters and the place, and really what the history and what's going on. It's well worth a read. It's seriously a good book. Now, there's also a book that I've recently had as well, which is Demithyle, which is actually a novel which is interlaced with the odd bits of artwork. But I haven't read that yet. I'm only a few pages in, because I'm also currently reading, which is going to be twofold. It will be a book review, but also because of what Amazon have released with the upcoming TV series. So I've started reading the Silmarillion. So I'm currently about 100 pages into the Silmarillion. So yeah, I'm doing that at the moment. And I've also got the Unfinished Tales to do as well after I've read that. So I've got a lot to get through. But anyway, let's crack on with this. So today I want to talk about Flesh and Bone, the War of Flesh and Bone, but also the one that came before it, which has been out a couple of years now, which is Shadows of the Underworld. Now, both these books, I bought them off Amazon. So you can get these off Amazon, guys. So don't think you've got to go to Sideshow to get these and maybe pay high shipping and import fees. I got these off Amazon. I've got Amazon Prime. So no shipping fee, no import fee. So, and I can't remember what the prices are. I think this one was about 12, maybe a bit more than that, 14, 16 pounds, something like that. So not heavily priced. Now, Tom Gilliland, who is the creator of Court of the Dead, has been involved in the writing of both of these books. The Shadows of the Underworld also involved Jacob Murray, and The War of Flesh and Bone was Frank Terry. I'm terrible at people's surnames. And both books are beautifully illustrated by Ivan Koritarev. Sorry, why can't people be called Smith? So, sorry to the guys who I've just butchered their names. So both have been, Ivan's done the artwork on both these. Beautiful artwork. Absolutely stunning artwork in these books, guys. That's going to come out. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I'm just going to loosely go over the sort of the background of the Court of the Dead for any of you who don't know. It's basically, there's an eternal war going between heaven and hell, between angels and demons, and in order to fuel their war, they need this energy source, basically, which is called Ethereum, which can only be obtained from souls of the dead. So they created Death, who would be a shepherd to send this force and distribute it evenly between them so they could continue their war. Anyway, over millennia, Death sort of grew an attachment to humans and didn't really like what he was doing. So he built the Underworld, and he built the city of Ilverness, and he started plucking souls from the Dirtforge and through that he created the Court of the Dead, and he's got all these multitudes of characters who are all basically, they're working to build an army so they can actually strike back at their oppressors and gain freedom for the souls of the dead. So that's loosely it. Anyway, let's crack on. I just want to quickly go over this book first, Shadows, because it kind of leads into what I want to talk about next one. And now in Shadows, this book basically evolves around Kia, who is a massive fan favourite, and there's also a couple of premium format statues out of there. I had one. And also the utterly fantastic X-Rail, who is a superb character, and I cannot believe that there is no premium format of X-Rail. There's not even been a render, there's not been a hint of one. I find that, I'm just baffled by that. I'm baffled by the fact that they've released this. The last proof I did was this character called Strife, who doesn't appear in any of the books, an unknown, and they've ignored the amazing X-Rail who appears in this book. So fantastic story, this one, absolutely fantastic. I say I'm not a graphic novel reader particularly, but when I read this story, I literally went back to page 1 and read it again straight through, and I've read it a couple of times since then. And even when I fetched this down to do this review today, I had a quick flick through. It's one of my favourite parts of the book. So utterly fantastic book. The artwork by Ivan is outstanding throughout, and the lettering and the wording is all done exemplary as well. It's everything that I've come to expect from Sideshow in regards to their Court the Deadline. Very high quality and superb. So anyway, let's get on to the one I read yesterday. This is the latest book to come out, which is The War of Flesh and Bone, and this one focuses around Odium, the big fella, and Mortigul, who is a member of the Bone faction. So there's three factions: there's Bone, there's Flesh, and there's Spirit. Spirit kind of sit on the fence, but Bone and Flesh are always having niggles at each other, mainly because of the leaders of these factions. One is Gethsemane, and the other one is her sister Zyle. I don't want to go too into it because I don't want to ruin the story for any of you. But basically, it's these two gladiators who come to blows because of sister rivalry. Now, again, the artwork in this is absolutely flawless. It's beautifully illustrated. Again, the lettering is done wonderfully. However, I've got to be honest, I found the story of this somewhat vague, and when I got to the end of it, I didn't have any inclination to want to read the book again, and I can only give my honest opinions here, guys. I just didn't really feel that there was a huge amount of fodder to the story, unless this is sort of leading into a future story, then, because how it ends, it kind of leaves the door open for that, then I could understand that. But for me, I don't really like this character Odium anyway. Odium has his own premium format, and when that came out, I didn't have any love for it at all, and that was kind of the start of the end of me collecting Court of the Dead, to be perfectly honest. But I've covered that in a previous video. And yeah, I thought reading this book I might get a little bit of an insight into Odium, and I might get sort of a bit of, you like to have feelings for your characters, don't you? You either love them or you love to hate them, but that's why we buy these pieces that we buy, because we love to surround ourselves with these amazing characters. But yeah, I read through this, and I don't fully understand the point of him. To be honest, he never sat right in the court for me, and you've only got to flick through the characters in the Chronicle to see that he's just for me, he was never right. He was never right in the court, and I got to the end of this, and I felt, what was the point of Odium? Mortigul comes flying in, and Mortigul again has his own astounding premium format statue actually, and you kind of need to know a bit about him, because there's no real introduction to him at all. He's just banging, he's in the storyline, and again, there was no sort of information as to why he was there. I felt there was no sort of introduction to Mortigul. I don't know, maybe I read this and missed something. Maybe some of you out there read this book and absolutely loved it, but I can only review this honestly. For me, the story in here didn't stand up to the story in Shadows. Shadows to me was an outstanding book, whereas the War of Flesh and Bone, I must admit, I got to the end and I was like, you know, beautiful artwork, beautiful. The lettering throughout was done fantastically. Beautiful quality once again from Sideshow, but the story fell very short for me of this one. So let's do some scoring. So Shadows of the Underworld for me is a resounding 9 out of 10, a fully deserved 9 out of 10. Beautiful artwork, beautiful lettering, fantastic story. Thumbs up. And I'm going to be brutally honest with this one now. The War of Flesh and Bone for me, and I'm being generous here, gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Again, the artwork and the lettering and everything and the quality is superb, but for me, I'm afraid the story just wasn't there. It just didn't grasp me at all. I have absolutely no feeling at all towards the central character, Odium. I just didn't get the point of either him or the story, to be honest. I got to the end and I did not understand what the point of this story was. This one had fantastic meaning to it and everything else. This one, sorry, I didn't get it. But again, you may read this and thoroughly have enjoyed it, but this is my review and I got to give my honest thoughts on the story. So sorry, Sideshow, this I say 7 out of 10 and I'm being really generous there. The artwork and the quality is getting 95% of those 7 points. So there we go, guys. That's my first book review. I hope it was okay, and obviously this is going to be something I'm going to continue doing, albeit it will be quite spaced apart, because as I said previously, I'm currently reading the Silmarillion, so that's going to take quite a while for me to wade through that. And then I've got the Unfinished Tales. I want to go and finish off the Demothyle book as well, and obviously there'll be other books that I'll be doing in the future. So if there's anything that you'd like me to read and review, then please let me know. Because I say it's something that I'd seriously like to get back into is my reading, because I used to read so much. So thanks as ever, guys, for watching. I'm going to wrap this one up. I've got more videos coming out now. I've got to say quickly, we spent 3 hours last night, me and Ryan, working on a collaboration of our YouTube channels. Unfortunately, due to technical errors, the footage we got was unusable. So poor old Ryan worked ever so hard on it as well, and I really feel for the guy. But we're going to be doing it again. So we're going to try again. Ryan seems to think he's got all the issues ironed out now. So we'll be doing that again next Saturday. So that'll be banged out now, probably the following week. So I've got a couple of videos I want to do in the coming week, stuff that I've already got lined up. So I'll be banging them out this week. Thanks to everyone for watching and leaving comments. Obviously subscribing, guys. I appreciate it. If you haven't, please do so. It really helps the channel. And I'll catch you all on the next video. Cheers, guys. Take care of yourselves and have a good week ahead.